Showing is a fresher breath of air. He just loved chain restaurants. Matter of fact, he ate at Applebee's 12 times during the bye week.
I love each and most of you guys.
That really is still swollen, isn't it? It kind of looks like a football, actually.
Thank you for that.
The stitching, you got it.
Thank you.
Well,
Hey, D, I like donuts, baby. Let's go.
Stay focused. Work hard in school. You might not like school, but make sure you're working hard at school.
Them Bills are bombs. Them Bills are bombs.
It's your boy DM3, and you're listening to the Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network.
Witty Nation, welcome to Witty Not Funny Sports Live, presented by Traveling Growler, the #1 self-rated Buffalo sports show covering the Bills, Sabres, entertainment, and everything in between. And as always, part of the Built in Buffalo Network. Go follow everything Built in Buffalo is giving you every single day. YouTube, Facebook, the best Bills content out there, from shows on Tuesdays like Buffalo Blitz, and on Saturdays, like Off the Edge. We give you the best Bills content out there here on Built in Buffalo. And go follow us at Witty Sports 716 right there at the bottom of your screen. Check it out. Go give us a follow. We love following back. Also, Tony, before we get into it, let's plug the podcast show store, teespring.com. Search Witty Not Funny, all one word. Or Google search Teespring Witty Not Funny. Check out all the cool designs, including a process power one, Tony, which is very fitting for our theme tonight. That's Matt. That's Tony. I'm Matt. We're your host. You might be wondering, what the hell are these guys doing? Well, Tony, why don't you kick us off here? What are we doing? Why are you on a bike and I'm lifting this 8-pound, very heavy weight?
Matt, we are doing this because just as the Bills, stuck at home, left to work from home, team stretches over Zoom, entrapped by the snowstorms, we are also committing to that. We are working it from home. We are putting in the work from our respective home gyms, so to speak, to fit with the preparation of the week, of a very important week. So it's nice to know that, you know, I've committed. I will be doing tonight's recording on a stationary bike. You will be lifting apparently an 8-pound weight in what appears to be a t-shirt and a flat brim. So it's nice to know that you have fully committed as I have. We're ready to go, ready to put in this work. Now, I think there will be opportunities throughout tonight's episode for that either one of us will have to increase reps or increase resistance.
Yes. With some trivia. We'll do some trivia every 10 minutes, let's say. And
Okay.
if Tony gets it wrong, he'll increase his resistance. If I get it wrong, Tony, if you have any trivia for me, I will increase my reps. I would be on a bike too, but as listeners and viewers of this show know, I had ACL surgery last year and cannot physically do a bike. So this is the next best thing. And my arm will be it is a little convenient. My arm will be very ready for individual activities like, this is a family show, so we'll say throwing a baseball. We'll just say throwing a baseball for what my arm will be ready for. Quite simply, the Bills are in the home stretch. We're in our home gyms. The Bills are in the home stretch. 3 more games till the parade planning begins. The Super Bowl victory, the trophy is raised. So just like the Bills are putting in work for the home stretch, we're putting in work as fans. The players are doing it at One Bills Drive. The fans are doing it at home. Listeners, if you join us in our workouts, just like the Bills are working out, getting ready, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's see how long I can do this. I'm already feeling fatigued.
You're doing a lot of reps.
This was not a great idea.
You're doing a lot of reps. We're really apples and oranges here.
I'm doing a lot of reps. I'm Billy blanking, double timing it here. I will say
I did work out for 45 minutes with like some resistance training before this. So this is legitimately just part of my sequence. I'm halfway through.
Oh man, this is classic. This listeners, viewers, you are part of history. We are the first Bills show to hopefully complete a whole show while working out the whole time. So
Yeah,
thank you
we'll be
for
doing
being part of
negative
history
calories the whole time.
with us. I think I burned off 3 McDonald's French fries right now. I'm really hitting it hard here. Tony, we got a lot of Bills to talk about. Big wild card win to kick off these playoffs and a familiar opponent coming up this week. Are you ready to get into it?
I've been ready since Sunday night. I've been waiting all
Sunday
week
night.
since Sunday night. That's how you do it.
Oh, Carrie Underwood?
You're
Why
familiar.
doesn't she have 2 pant legs? Shout out Bruce Nolan, who also is wondering this as well. 2 pant legs needs
Friend
to
of
be...
the pod, Bruce Nolan.
Yes, friend of the pod, Bruce. Where's her other pant leg, Carrie? Carrie, you have enough money. You are rich enough to get that second pant leg. Please do that. Tony, what do you say we kick it off to a person who always has 2 pant legs, thank God, because he's like 90 years old.
And
Mr.
he's
Marv
in better
Levy.
shape than us.
And he's in better shape than us, and probably Carrie Underwood as well. Mr. Marv Levy. Let's kick it to Marv. We'll be back with some Bills Steelers review.
So go, Bills fight, Bills go. Come on, let's win for Buffalo.
And we are back. Tony, we kick off, listeners, viewers, we kick off our game review the same way we kick off each week with the So Bad It's Good review. Tony, are you ready?
Sure.
All right,
Can't
here
wait.
we go. Hit the music. Wild Card Weekend. Come on, freeze the boys. Girls, show some poise as we freeze, freeze, freeze in the snow. Oh, the weather outside was frightful, but the Bills put in a delightful performance against the Steelers in the wild card. And since we have no healthy players, let us heal, let us heal, let us heal. Josh was a red, white, and blue fighter as he had Billsmafia saying, "There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes for 50 yards into the end zone. Eric, row your boat. You're going to get trucked by the goat gently down the stream. Scarily, 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 scarily. I think we heard you scream." The Watless Steelers D was without power and in a state of radiant flux as Khalil Shakir Heights was a kid cutting up the secondary on the way to the pursuit of happiness across the goal line. AJ Calvin Klein was the right fit, and Lewis was camera ready for the main stage. Bills send Mike Lilly Tomlin back home on the magic loser bus with Grayson Franklin. Go home, you Jagoffs. Bills move on 31-17 to the divisional round against the Chiefs. Tony, that's the So Bad It's Good review.
My notes. I feel like there was a
Give me your
big
notes.
opportunity because you said because you went right from the Calvin Klein fit. When I hear Calvin Klein, I think Back to the Future. And
Okay, yeah.
right into there, you went into Cam Lewis. And Lewis is Lewis not the father's name? Or there's a character of Lewis in Back to the Future. I was like, oh man,
There is, isn't there?
Yeah, this would have fit beautifully together if it had gone in that direction. The other note that I had, I totally forgot because I was hyper focused on the Back to the Future situation.
So good, it's bad. It's because it was so bad it was good. That's why you forgot.
Yeah, that must have been it.
That must have been
not so much a note. I remember what it is. Not so much a note on your So Bad It's Good review, but it made me realize and pontificate: did the universe injure T.J. Watt as foreshadowing to the storm? Whereas the wattage goes out, many people lose power. There's something there.
There's something there. There's some connection there.
Maybe a cult that can start out of that.
It's called the Amish. Yes, no power.
Yeah.
Tony, you went to the game.
I did.
Tell us how it was, just what your mindset was leading up to the game and then getting to the game. This game, of course, was postponed due to the snowstorm that has been ongoing for what seems like a week now here in the Western New York area. The game was postponed from Sunday at 1 to Monday at 4:30, and a lot of fans, a lot of people didn't even know if they'd be allowed in the seats and allowed in the stadium. They fans were shoveling, not successfully. They did a valiant job, to say the least. But as people entered their seats, there was a lot of snow still on the bleachers. You had to sit on snow. There are some great videos of people like sliding down the stairs to like get to the concourse instead of walking up and down the stairs. So Tony, take us through just kind of your mentality, the vibes of the stadium leading up to the game and when the game did start.
Fear, I guess, leading up to the game, really all weekend. The fear of the unknown, of when would I have the opportunity to go. As our most loyal listeners know, I live in Rochester, you live in Buffalo. You're having a very different experience than I am. I'm surrounded by my experience because I'm in a room that has a window of 3 walls. And I would say we have an inch and a half sustained on the ground right now of fluffy snow, but fresh. And so, we always had no problem. My thought was, how can I stay warm? And when will I have the best opportunity to get there, considering the travel ban? I did leave in the morning, barely making it on time to catch the bus, and barely making it with the well-prepared stuff that I had. It was the most comfortable and warmest I've ever been for a cold weather game, because I was preparing for the worst and I had time to really do so thoughtfully. It was the first game that I've ever utilized ski goggles for. Loved it. Really into that. Yep. So then to get there, we got there relatively early, and the vibe was, I would say, professional is the term I would use.
Oh, okay.
in the sense that
a word not synonymous with Billsmafia.
No. Well, in the sense that what I realized is the combination of this being a playoff game and a highly sought after game, and a game that is, maybe there's a lot of reasons to not go, and a game that's a little more expensive, and a game that you have to know, like, you can only plan to go a max of 6 days before. Everyone who was there knew what they were doing. It was a much, I guess I would say, like, the median age was older, and the median amount of games done in the past was more. Usually, like, you see kids or groups of people, even adults, that are like, this is like their one big blowout. They were like super hyped up for the game and everything. And that was not this. Like, everyone who was there knew how to maintain themselves at an NFL game, not only in terms of the alcohol, but just in terms of, like,
rarity.
And just in terms of, like, everything. Just their entire decorum was you saw that everyone knew what they were doing, was calm, was prepared. No issues there. So the tone of the lot was wholesome, with people sledding and stuff. The tone of the lot was just like live and let be. And it set up for a successful game because everyone also knew what they were doing. To enter the stadium, to put the snow off of their seat and where they needed it to be, which could have just been anywhere, and to put in work as the 12th man.
Yeah, I mean, the scenes were crazy, from the tailgate, sledding and jumping through tables as Billsmafia does, to, like I mentioned, getting in the stadium with piles of snow still on the seats, bleachers covered completely in snow. It was quite the scene, and kudos to everyone and the Bills staff and every volunteer that helped get that stadium as prepared and ready as it could have been. Kudos to you, because the weather was brutal, whether it was the 40 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts or just the frigid temperatures. The stadium crew and the volunteers did a really solid job of getting that stadium ready. And it led, even though there was snow, it led to the great scene of every time the Bills scored a touchdown, people throwing the snow. I think it was termed snowplosions, which I don't like. We can probably think of something better, but
Right.
throwing the snow in the air. We didn't get any. Did we get any snowballs thrown at the players this game, Tony?
I didn't see anyone hit players directly. People were on a rare occasion throwing snowballs, into the air and onto the field. I there didn't seem to be it didn't seem to be nearly as malicious as it was during the Dolphins game last year.
Right.
Most people, I think, were focused on the snowplosions.
Yeah,
but we were also scoring a lot at the start, so it set a good tone.
I think because of the hot start, it seemed like it was more celebratory than, revenge or
Right.
ill will towards the opposition. So the Bills did get off to a hot start. Let's get into the game. Let's start with the offense because of that hot start. Actually, the Bills came out first drive, 80 yards, 10 plays plus, like killing it the first drive. Joe Brady really anti-Dorsey. He's talking about vibe checks.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Brady's feeling it a little here. And then the defense steps up with a turnover, which the Bills capitalize on a Dalton Kincaid over the middle play. But I think the main player, and he started the game off, it was the first reception of the game, and we got to talk about it just like we talk about every week. The He-Wolf is howling.
Ow, ow, ow.
Khalil Shakir. The He-Wolf has arrived. He has already arrived. He arrived like week 3.
Yeah. But now he's got press conferences. There's people talking about him.
Yeah, now he gets press conference time. He's arrived if he's getting press conference time.
Right.
Starts the game off with a 5-yard reception, maybe the most important play of the game because it really got the ball rolling. That 5-yard reception was key. You saw it on a later drive. Dawson Knox had a nice over the middle. He dropped. And it killed the drive. Shakir's not a drive killer. He's a drive starter. And it ended with maintainer. He's a drive maintainer, a drive starter, a drive sustainer. He is the He-Wolf, and that's what He-Wolves do. They just make things happen, as we've mentioned throughout the season. But it really ended and culminated in, like, we're biased on this show because we love Khalil Shakir so much, and he's the He-Wolf. Hashtag He-Wolf for those in Twitter Xland. But the touchdown he had, was that one of the greatest 5 plays ever in Bills playoff history? Ever. Yeah, I'm going there. I'm going ever.
Ever is a very
we haven't had a lot of playoffs to talk about. we had an 18-year drought.
Yeah, but ever? I don't know that I can say ever, but it was
electric.
It was shockingly awesome. I do wonder what everyone who sits around me at the game thinks, or has even noticed the correlation that every time Khalil Shakir makes a play, I howl. They probably think it's super weird. Yes, to me, that's the inspiration behind what we're doing, the exercise and the exercising that we're doing tonight, is because Khalil Shakir participated in team stretches over Zoom, and we see the results. He freakishly kept his balance up and took it to the house. And that was also the most deliberate correlation I think we've seen of college Khalil Shakir at Boise State, Mr. Do Everything, translate into the NFL, that that capability still exists, translates, and can happen. So if nothing else, like popping the jar open on that is an exciting idea.
Yeah. I want to get to Joey's comment here. Shakir, best catch percentage in the NFL. Not shocking to us. We suspect that.
Yeah.
That's child's play for the He-Wolf.
Not shocking.
And he spent last offseason with Eric Moulds. I think that's an important part of his success this year. Eric Moulds, obviously a Bills great and a great receiver in his own right for his time playing. And yes, Lance, I'm really committing to this dumbbell reps This is all I can do, people. I can't do anything lower body. My legs
I'm
don't
only
work.
lower body over here. I'll see if we can get like a.
Tony's on the bike. I'm upper body.
We're biking
Tony's
it
lower
over
body.
here.
If you put us together, we are a super Bills fan, Voltron. The Bills are putting in work. We got to put in work. That's all it comes down to. That's what we do here.
And I have not
Shakir,
stopped
best
pedaling.
catch percentage. Last season, Eric Moulds. The one thing he didn't pick up from Eric Moulds, which was great to see, and it kind of rubbed off on Stephon Diggs a little, is after he catches the ball, he doesn't run backwards 2 yards. I remember Eric Moulds did that all the time. It drove me nuts, even though I loved Eric Moulds and he was great. But
I
Khalil
think
Shakir
Diggs
has
kind of
been.
does that a lot too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Diggs does
Yeah.
do that. It rubbed off on Diggs. Maybe Diggs
Right.
worked with Eric Moulds in the offseason. But the He-Wolf was fantastic. And I think it goes to without Gabe Davis playing this game due to injury. I think it goes to the point of just these secondary guys stepping up. Deontay Hardy-Harris had a huge play later on the game where he caught the ball and got a lot of yards after catch down the sideline and sustained a drive. And it's kind of like Joe Brady's slowly starting to realize like the right usage of these players that Ken Dorsey could just never figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ken Dorsey's us studying the solar system and Joe Brady's Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like that's the comparison. Like Ken Dorsey knew nothing. That's a big jump. Joe Brady knows everything. He's got all the constellations memorized, and he sees the stars on the field and on this roster, and he knows how to put them and place them and use them. Shakir is awesome. Dalton Kincaid was awesome. Deontay Hardy-Harris was great in the limited usage or limited snaps he saw on the field. That Hardy play, I want to just touch on that real quick. And you know the play I'm talking about where he had like 30 yards.
That's the big one. Yeah.
Yeah, the big one, his only play. But it's kind of like, don't you think Hardy, with his skill set being the speed guy, the quick guy, he should see at least like 5 plays that are dedicated to him? Like he is the person the ball is going to. And I'm not talking about like bubble screens or getting it quickly in his hands. I'm talking about like full field crossing routes, just something where he utilizes his speed, because I feel like, say he lines up in the slot and on the left side and runs all the way across to the right side off the snap. Like I feel like nobody's keeping up with him, and if they are, they're sending safety help over the top because that linebacker, slot corner, whatever can't keep up with Hardy-Harris. And I feel like that opens up the offense a ton with how he can be utilized, or jet sweeps, kind of like we saw with Isaiah McKenzie. I'm surprised they haven't done something like that.
Yeah.
I just feel like his skill set in the right hands, and hopefully the right hands are Joe Brady's offensive play calling and schemes. He can be a real weapon, don't you?
Of course, and it surprises me the most because they practice that very often. I mean, I know it's now 2 different offensive coordinators, but they practiced that often at camp. Like that seemed like it was going to be a part of the offense, and they abandoned it, or at least they diagnosed that as like not something they were good enough at to be able to keep it going consistently. But I agree. I would love to see the speed utilized in different ways other than just, hoping that it works out and that he catches it and then see what happens. But there are ways to design plays around him that, I would like to see that a little bit more. And we'll see that. I feel like the Chiefs do that a lot. Like that was the
Chiefs do that a lot.
Yeah, like that was the.
I'm not saying he's Tyreek Hill, but you can use him in the same way.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Or at least have the plays won't go for as much yardage, but you can use the same philosophies.
Right. And if it's anything, it's even if Hardy-Harris doesn't get the ball, and I call him Deontay Hardy-Harris because, of course, he was formerly Deontay Harris. Now he's Deontay Hardy, and he's the future. What do we call him? Chosen Hardy-Harris, as in like Robbie Anderson. Changed his name to Chosen. But Joe Brady knows he has something in Deontay Hardy, and he's seen a lot more snaps. He's caught at least one ball in the past couple weeks per game, and they've been typically big plays. And I'd like to see him used going forward. Tony, we've hit the 25-minute mark. Do you think it's time for a little trivia?
Let's
How are
do
you
it.
feeling over there?
Is it you asking me?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. I'm on minimum speed right now. Like the knob is
Minimum speed.
all the way
We'll see if we have to.
lefty-loosey.
We'll see if we have to up it.
Okay.
All right, here we go, Tony. This is from the game Buffalo against the World. Good game. Shameless plug there.
Okay. Yep.
Fun game for Bills fans. And comment along if you know the answers to our trivia. Hopefully Tony won't see them. Comment after. We don't want to give Tony any help here. We really want him to be working hard. Tony, are you ready?
Yeah.
There are 9 players on this list. I will ask you to name 7 of the 9.
Okay.
Here's the
Jesus.
question. From 1998 to 2018, 9 different players finished a season as a Bills leader in receiving yards. Name 7 of the 9, and you get 3 strikes.
Okay, what's the year? 98?
98 to 2018.
Okay. Eric Moulds.
Is 1.
Peerless Price.
Aforementioned. Peerless Price is not on the list. That's strike 1.
Okay.
Off to a rough start.
Because there was like that year that when we lost Moulds and put Price in there. Okay. This is by yards or receptions?
This is by receiving yards.
Okay. T.O.?
Fancy graph. T.O. is 1. That's 2.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay. Yes, good. 2018.
Fancy graphic.
I guess I want to say. Oh, I don't think I want to say that.
I need a timer and a buzzer for you.
Stevie Johnson.
Stevie Johnson is 3. Can he get 4 more? Viewers, help him out in the comments if you know
Sammy
the Bills leader in receiving yards, 1998 to 2018.
Did you hear Sammy Watkins?
Sammy Watkins is 4. Good.
Okay. '98.
There's some doozies of names in here.
Like
Leader
in terms of
receiving yards.
In terms of like obscurity, or in terms of like they're legitimate NFL players, that should be like on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, Joey's giving you some help in the comments here.
Joey Hatch. Jones. Okay.
Hotel, bath salts. I'll give you a couple hints.
Zay Jones.
Zay Jones. That is another one.
Okay, see, that's where I was considering saying Kelvin Benjamin. And then I was like, I don't think he was the leader, so I'm not going to say Kelvin Benjamin.
He was traded mid-season, so.
Yeah, but still.
I think Joey should be playing. Joey should be playing.
For the receivers on that team, that could have happened. Donald Jones?
Oh, Donald Jones?
I'm just going for fun.
No, that's 2 strikes.
Okay.
All right. Rapid fire. Here we go.
Oh, Smoke Brown?
No, 3 strikes. Up your resistance.
I went with Joey on that one. Hold on. Let me just. So I've lost. Let me increase speed. I'm increasing speed. Andre Reed.
No, what? 98?
Yeah, didn't you leave in 99?
Yeah, but he wasn't leading receiver then.
All right, well, that was in my head. I mean, you said Eric Moulds was not on there. Yeah,
Eric Moulds was on there. You were right with that.
All right,
I'll give you the list here. Scott Chandler. Josh Reed is not on there. Scott Chandler. Charles Clay. Shocking.
I was never even going to think a tight end would have been in there.
I know. I wouldn't either because
Okay.
of our illustrious history of awesome tight ends.
Yeah.
Lee Evans. I'm surprised you didn't get Lee Evans.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
knew
a
you'd kick
huge
yourself on that
one.
one. I know. And the other one you missed was Robert Woods.
Bobby Woods.
Bobby Trees. Bobby Trees.
Hmm. I should have got Lee Evans. I'm not disappointed by anything else.
You should have got Lee
But
Evans.
in my mind, I'm saying Peerless Price, and I'm thinking like they blend together for me.
Okay, sure.
Mhm.
If that's what you think. So Bills get off to a hot start, then kind of come down to earth a little. At one point, it was a one-score game. Vibe check in the stadium, Tony. When it was a one-score game, were you worried at all that they were going to blow it?
I got the
Did
vibe that
pessimistic Bills fan come out?
I got the vibe that I was the most worried person in the stadium. Everyone else seemed really confident, and I was not at all confident. I was I was I was on edge, and I'm like, I was very on edge until He Wolf got howling. At which point I was like, okay, the edge is off. I'm gonna relax a little bit. But like meanwhile, like the person who sits next to me, who we both know, is like looking at our friends, thinking like towards the end, and is like, "All right, the thing we're leaving, like, is this thing's wrapped up?" And I'm like, "It's not wrapped up. What are you talking about? Like, a million things could happen. Like this, there's tons of time."
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I was. It was tense for me. I was worried.
It was very tense. The reason I was worried is because we were down to like our third and fourth string defense,
Of
and we'll
course,
get into
yeah.
that in a second here
And
after we talk
when
about the offense.
when the play was made, when that like third down, it was going to be a touchdown to Diggs, and the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive back made that like really athletic play. That
Yeah,
was I knew in that moment. I'm like, that could be a real catalyst of a turnaround. I'm like, that's
right.
to put a stop to us. Like, I'm really happy with 24 points. Like, I can't say no to 24 points in the first half, but that's a really athletic play. And I was kind of like, I was relaxed enough in that moment to be more impressed by it than frustrated. But then when Bass got blocked, I was like, oh no, this is the beginning.
Oh yeah, right. That seemed like a
Mhm.
big turning point of
Yeah,
like, uh-oh,
of
here,
an
here we
impending
go.
collapse.
A Billsy collapse here.
Right.
Uh, Tyler, does Tyler Bass have the yips? Is this something we should be worried about? He's not stamping any passports lately.
Okay, I think I'm the only one who thinks this.
What do you think?
Is so okay, I think I think we know. I think most people believe that icing the kicker is stupid and not effective.
Yes,
It's a
it is.
fantasy world strategy to take a timeout to ice the kicker.
Right.
But a lot of people do, and a lot of people have believed in it in the past. Maybe they believe it in the past because 30 seconds to ice a kicker, stupid, not effective.
Right.
2 minutes and 30 seconds to ice a kicker, maybe effective.
Maybe.
Because he had to wait, because he came out to kick and had to wait 2 minutes and 30 seconds for the 2 minute warning and the media timeout.
Yeah. Maybe it was enough.
Maybe that's enough.
It was
Maybe that's enough
cold. The legs get
to shut it
cold.
down. It was very cold.
Yes. The legs get cold. I think from what I've noticed, and Tyler Bass has had a couple kicks, and we don't spend a lot of time on the kicker. But Tyler Bass has had a couple kicks this year have gotten blocked. And what I can see him doing, and this primarily happens when there's ill weather involved. So, for example, it's windy or raining or whatever. He tries to like manipulate his kick. So, for example, if it's windy, he'll try to cut the wind by kicking it lower so it's not
Mm.
as wobbly up in the air.
Uh-huh.
And it usually leads to his form just being completely off.
Mm.
And I don't know why he's doing it. He had the successful field goal he did have this game. He just kicked it normal and just let the wind do what it would with it. Like just kick the ball normal. Stop trying to like slice through the wind or do this weird stuff because your form gets completely thrown off. And I don't know why he does it. So that's my 2 cents about it. Like when you play soccer, there's different ways to kick the ball. If you want to drive the ball, you lean over it and toe down. If you want to air it out, you lean back and get under it. That's just what I see with Tyler Bass, is just different ways of kicking the ball instead of just doing the thing he should be doing and just kicking it. Like, that's the one job you have, just kick it. Just let the wind do what the wind will.
Nike,
it's like
just
Madden. Like, he's not even like, point your arrow, your Madden
Right.
arrow, field goal kicker. Like, like if the wind is directionally this way, point your arrow this way, like, instead of kicking it straight and slicing through. Anyway, like I said, we won't spend too much time on the kicker. I want to talk about 17, the Prince who was promised, the chosen one. I can't wait till I drop this weight on my computer. That's going to be a moment.
Yep.
That's going to be a moment. The Prince who was promised, the chosen one, the franchise himself, J17. I want to say like a vintage Josh game. Didn't throw for a ton of yards, but used his legs. And I think we're seeing kind of come to fruition what we predicted a couple weeks ago of like, oh, maybe these guys maybe the game plan's a little different. Not as much Josh running or Diggs seeing a lower snap count. And I think that was due to injury, but you said, maybe they're saving him for the playoffs and saving this Josh running section of the playbook till the playoffs. I think we're kind of seeing that now because Josh running, despite 75% of his yards coming from one run, has been incredibly effective these last few weeks here as we push for the playoffs and are now in the playoffs. That 52-yard run, that's vintage Josh Allen. When he gets up to speed and he is in his most gazelle-like form, is he the closest thing we have to an Animorph, by the way?
Is Animorphs the book that I picture, the children's book series of a humans
transforming into animals
and a progressive thing? What's his animal?
Can't you see Josh as an Animorph, like human to buffalo?
Oh. Yeah,
that's his Animorph form.
Is that the next Woody Not Funny T-shirt?
Oh, I think you're previewing something here.
Artistically, you got your work cut out for you on that one, but
yeah, that's a tough one artistically.
Yeah, that would probably be a tough one. But maybe we could find the original guy.
But when he's running and he's up to full speed, he's making guys make business decisions, as many have said this week. And 2 weeks in a row now, Kader Kohu for the Dolphins wanted no part of Josh Allen on that first down run last week in Miami. And I don't know his first name. Kazee is his last name. I think it's Desmond Kazee. But Kazee wanted no part of Josh Allen on that run. Neither did Levi Wallace, which was very funny. Levi Wallace just didn't even try to get in Josh Allen's way.
Levi Wallace is working for us.
Yes.
We know
that was my question. Is Levi Wallace, is this the long game? Is Levi Wallace a mole
right
in another organization that is secretly working for the Bills to help them win?
We've sent people all over this league so that they can work for us, infiltrating slowly.
DeAndre Hopkins catching a touchdown to send the Bills to the playoffs. Levi Wallace not tackling Josh Allen. We've done these things in the offseason, not signing guys, not trading for guys. And Brandon Beane's playing the long game here. Little.
I think it's smart.
20 spot under the table for these guys. Yeah. They help us out down the road.
Wow. What? I mean, if Levi Wallace is willing, I'm not complaining. What form Bills are on the Chiefs? Any?
Who do we got? Drew Tranquil. We didn't sign him.
No. Okay. So we're going to talk about people we could have signed and didn't, and they kind of count them as former Bills?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm going to hood up here.
Let's get to some comments here. Hey, Rich, thank you, man. Super chat. Thank you, A Rich, co-founder of Built in Buffalo. Our dude, former guest of the show. A Rich is the best. Thank you, A Rich. If you'd like to leave a super chat comment, please do so. We really appreciate it. As we say, the modern day podcaster is the former day starving artist. So thank you for supporting the podcast, Rich, and everyone out there for just tuning in and supporting. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Joey's comment here. We were talking about the wide receivers. I wanted to get to this because I saw it come through here. Did anybody miss Gabe Davis last week or this wild card game?
Didn't know the difference anyway.
That's what I said.
Like even
I said,
when
my buddy texted me. My buddy from high school texted me. He's like, Gabe Davis is out this week for the wild card. I'm like, oh no, what will we do to make up for his 0 targets and 0 catches?
Right. When we look at, or when I look at, because I think like many Bills fans, I've been following closely the injury updates, and when I look at that, I kind of did this exercise with myself yesterday, looking at the list and being like, okay, so like, who do I care? Who do I want the most? Who do I need the most? Who do I need the least? And Gabe Davis is last on the list. Like, I'm almost completely indifferent by his injury.
I know. It's like the emergence of Kincaid, and that was one of our hot takes before the season started. I think it was mine specifically, is Kincaid is going to be at the end of the season the second leading receiver in yards and receptions on this team. I think it was true this year. But Kincaid has really become the second primary target behind Diggs.
Yeah.
And all for the better, because Kincaid's awesome. Not only did he have that touchdown catch down the seam, which was that's Kincaid, right? That's what we want to see, him outrunning linebackers, being his athletic self. Like, that's why you traded up and get a guy like that to be a weapon. But not only down the seam, but on the outside, he made a very tough catch earlier in the game when I forget who the Steelers cornerback that was draped all over him was, but Kincaid came on a crossing route and just made a very tough catch for a first down. But I mean, that guy's emerging as a legit star in this league.
I mean, it's not like to hear the stat of that he has more receptions in a season than any other Bills tight end in his rookie year.
Oh yeah, that's wild, right?
Is jarring because like we've had good tight ends.
Right.
It's not like we have an entire franchise history of mediocre tight ends. Like, we've had good tight ends, but Dalton Kincaid is just getting the production. So as the number 2 tight end. So that is, I don't know, like if this is what they had in mind, whoever designed it this way, kudos to them, whether that person be, the remnants of Dorsey, or if this is the creation of what Joe Brady always thought could happen or whatever, or some balance in between. But it's awesome he's getting production. He is super good. He's good for like a drop a game, but it's forgivable because he's also good for some super good plays every game.
Yeah. I think that's true. And like I said, did we really miss Gabe Davis? I didn't even notice him out there. With that being said, though, like, I do weirdly think he would help.
Well,
like,
because
as much as I think, yeah, like Trent Sherfield isn't. I mean, he had a nice game against the Dolphins and got very lucky being in the right place at the right time on that touchdown catch in the final week of the season. But he didn't give. I don't think he had a catch in the Steelers game. It doesn't really give me anything. Gabe Davis gives you something. So, despite us not liking or being in favor of Gabe Davis, I do think he would be very helpful out there, and I hope to see him back this week against the Chiefs. I'm kind of getting like a Megatron vibe right now from the Paramount Plus commercial with Josh Allen and Peppa Pig.
Yeah, of course.
When Megatron like cannon like malfunctions, and Josh is like, just do this, and Peppa's like, do this. Like,
yeah,
I got to take a break and just do this. Like Josh and Peppa.
Your
2024's Hollywood power couple.
Right. I'm in the opposite situation. I was pedaling too slow, and I'm like getting cold, and so now I'm like up my pedal. I put this hoodie on, and I'm up to my pedaling, hoping it's going to warm me up and get some blood flow happening.
Are you outside?
No, I'm in my side room, but it's it's freezing in here because it's like an enclosed porch kind of thing.
Wow, look at that, viewers. Tony is freezing. We do this for you. We do this for
My
you
toes are really
viewers.
cold. Yeah.
So hit that like. We'll see how much gas Tony has left. But what do you think of Josh Allen's performance? Kind of circling back to that, we got off track a little with the comments there, but Josh Allen vintage performance, over 200 yards passing, all those yards on the ground, and just efficient. Like that's what it's going to come down to. Josh is going to be great. It's can Josh not shoot himself in the foot at the worst times ever? Doing a stupid play
Right.
like lateraling it for no reason, or whatever miscommunication he always seems to have with Gabe Davis, throwing these interceptions, or when the Bills don't turn the ball over, they're extremely difficult to beat, regardless of whether our first string defense is out there or our third string defense.
What I liked about it, the comment that I had on it was every touchdown was like a really upscale highlight worthy play. There was no drive that ended and it's just like, okay, here's like a 3-yard run or something, or something like push into the end zone and they finally just completed it. Like every touchdown was very memorable and was cool and was a feat of athleticism. And a lot of that has to do with Josh setting up his supporting cast. So yeah, he was good. No complaints. I hope he can be that and then some this coming week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shakira was killing it. Shakira always kills it. Those hips don't
Those
lie.
hips don't lie.
Shakira was also killing it. Because he's the he-wolf, of course. Yeah, just great Josh performance, and the tests, and we'll get into the Chiefs in a minute here as we finish up our Steelers review. But anything else about the offense before we move on to the defense here, Tony?
Not for me. Line held up. I don't know.
Line held up. James Cook ran well.
Yep.
It's a good game from the offense. Joe Brady's excitement, somebody mentioned in the comments, Joe Brady's excitement is very palpable. I love it. We're not throwing tablets. We're yelling our excitement
Celebrations
now, and we're celebrating. So yeah, that's always good to see. Yeah, great game from the offense against a Steelers team that kind of causes them trouble in the past, especially defensively, especially that defensive line. Obviously, missing TJ Watt, a big component of that Steelers defensive line success, but still very good players. Marcus Golden is a guy who's given the Bills a lot of trouble in the past. Cameron Hayward is a guy who's given the Bills a lot of trouble in the past. So they were able to handle him pretty flawlessly, and great job by the offensive line, who has, I think this is probably the best offensive line we've had, and I think it's due to the consistency of it. We haven't had guys rotating in and out. We've had the same 5 starters pretty much all season. So I think that is paying dividends as we go into the playoffs here. So great performance from the offense. This game, obviously a test against the Chiefs offensively and defensively. But let's talk about the defense this game. I think the main point is just the injuries. So many injuries. I think 7 to count. Taron Johnson, Christian Benford, more power. Need some more power right now. Doing these workouts. And the list goes on and on. Like Taylor Rapp was out. There's just so many people. Terrell Dodson was out. And due to the injuries that occurred before this game and occurred during this game, we had some people just stepping up that you would never think would step up. AJ Klein, straight from the streets, straight from the RV, heading to North Carolina or wherever he was going.
Key West.
I don't know if he must have been auditioning for Road Rules. Now he's playing in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. AJ Klein does exist. We found that out.
Right.
We have proof he does exist, and he is on the Bills roster. So congratulations, AJ Klein. And I think he smiled in the post-game press conference, which first time I've ever seen AJ Klein smile. Google AJ Klein right now.
Well, he's retired, so he's like
95% of his pictures are stoic, stone-faced AJ Klein. Man never smiles, even when he's pictured with his kids. But AJ Klein stepped up in a big way. Kyer Elam stepped up in a big way. Another guy who hasn't seen any action during the regular season, especially in these last 3 months here, with a key interception in the end zone. Just talk to me about just these guys you would never suspect stepping up.
Kyrie Lim almost had 2 interceptions. Like, that's a trouble.
I know.
Like, he was so close to that other one. Yeah, like it was relieving because as the injuries mounted up, it was frustrating. You know, you look at the cold weather and think and wonder, does that have something to do with the dominoes falling like this? Obviously, Bernard's injury to watch them with the pump, like to do his air cast, was super demoralizing.
Yes.
And chilling
Bernard?
because it's like, okay, now who's going in? And that was whole thing of in itself. But my thought process is we kind of pontificated, as I kind of was like saying last year, it's like the universe is bringing the people back that have been on the journey with us. So is that now Matt Hack is back? Does he belong to be back? You know? So I don't know. I mean, it was tough to face those injuries. I'm glad they stepped up, and that's probably that's really where I found the greatest value in Josh's work early on in hyping up the score and the hot start. Because if we didn't have the hot start, who knows how those injuries would have affected us. But we had some good cushion. So that's kind of what I was thinking the whole time. I was just like having gratitude about the hot start because thinking I was like, oh, these injuries could really set us back. But I think that's part of what our defense is. You know, as I've said in the past, is that our defense is a unit, an interdependent unit of 11. So next man up situations are a little bit different than you might approach if it was on offense. And you just hope that the talent is there. And luckily, people stepped up on Sunday. People stepped up on Monday afternoon.
Yeah, and a lot of people stepped up. You even had Von Miller sightings towards the end of the game there.
Yeah.
You know, like since we're snowed in for the past 6 days, it was like an abominable snowman sighting, a rarity that Von Miller
Right.
did something. Goes by the legend of the Yeti. Von Miller actually did something, and then it was very funny because the 2 rushes that Von Miller actually did get to the quarterback. One caused an incompletion. The other, he had the sack like right there, and he just kind of pushed Mason Rudolph. It was very odd. I'm like, did this guy forget how to play football? Like he awesome spin move
Right.
to beat the right tackle, gets to Mason Rudolph and just kind of shoves him gently. Like you can tackle him. That's kind of what football is. 101 basic level football.
You know,
Just
Mason
tackle the
Rudolph,
guy,
so elusive.
Yes. Such an athletic quarterback,
Yep.
that Mason Rudolph.
Known to be just the tough as nails. Future Hall of Famers just bounce right off him.
Not a Dancing with the Stars champion like yourself, Vaughn.
Right, of course.
You show him who can 2-step better.
Yeah.
I guarantee you can. But those are the guys that stepped up, guys you wouldn't expect to step up.
And that's what we need.
Stepping up last week. Thought he played good in his limited time this week. Terrell Bernard going down, of course, is a huge loss. By the way, did you think we'd ever get to a point in the career of Terrell Bernard where we'd be like, oh, shoot, Terrell Bernard got hurt? That's not good. Because if you ask me, like, here we are. Like, I don't think we would ever suspect us having this conversation about Terrell Bernard.
Bernard? Yeah, But here I am, like Frank Ham was like, ooh, I hope Bernard gets back. I'm like really worried about Bernard, you know?
Yes. And that's a true right here, comment from Joey. And viewers, listeners, hit that like. Make sure you comment if you haven't yet. It takes 1 second, just a little click of the mouse or the type into the keyboard. But AJ Klein canceled his family vacation to come play for the Bills. That's culture right there, folks.
That's
to put your team over family.
Right there,
To put your team over family.
Yeah. And
screw the kids, screw the wife. I got to go play for
You
the
wonder
Bills
would he
and
do that
0
for
degree
any
temp.
team he played for? You wonder would he do that for every team he
Yeah.
played for? But like, is he a Bill in his heart? Is kind of the question, and maybe that's been
Right.
answered.
That just was like AJ Klein coming off the street, canceling his retirement, canceling his family vacation. Obviously did not get interviewed for the Ty Dunn article.
Clear as day. Yeah.
Clear as day. Not one of the guys who was interviewed for the Ty Dunn article. He loves playing for this team. AJ Klein does. And glad to have him because we are thin as all heck. Just like I'm getting thin from this workout, we are thin at the linebacker position.
But luckily we have luckily Dotson is practicing.
Yes, Dotson's practicing.
So
Taron Johnson's practicing. So things are on the up and up. I like Dorian Williams' game. Every time Dorian Williams goes in, I'm like, give me more Dorian Williams, especially in that game where it was like the Steelers are going to just run and do short passing stuff. They're not going to try to take any shots. Just let Dorian Williams go out there and run around like a chicken with his head cut off because that's what he does best, and this is the perfect game for that scenario. Now, against the Chiefs, I don't know if that's going to play, but once Dorian Williams learns how to like control that energy, I think he's going to be like pretty good.
Yeah, I think, the first time we've seen like a grown Dorian Williams, a season of practicing and learning behind him was last week when he was forced into action. And I was also like, oh, okay, there's something here, like this isn't just the mess that it used to be. This can work. So that was relieving, I think, especially for a third round pick, to invest something like that in a Dorian Williams. So yes, I would agree with you. I always rooting for Dorian Williams because, as you know, it's the second best nickname we've ever given anyone.
Second best. Yep.
Yeah.
Hashtag Judge Dreads.
Judge Dreads. So we're always rooting for that so that we can really hype up Judge Dreads as the nickname for Dorian Williams. Yeah.
Second best nickname we've ever given. Behind He-Wolf Khalil Shakir, of course. Are you worried going in? Let's start to move on to this Kansas City game.
Kansas City, yeah.
Are you worried about all these injuries mounting up going into facing the team again that we cannot seem to avoid in the playoffs? I'm just like, of course we have to play the Chiefs. Like these effing guys again. Can we just not get the Chiefs? I know it's home and that's the big difference, and they're gonna have to play in front of Billsmafia now, which is very difficult. And it's always difficult playing the Bills at home, but it's still just like, God damn it, the effing Chiefs again. Can we just not get this team, please? But do the injuries concern you going into this Chiefs game?
Matt, I feel like the deck is stacked against the Bills. In terms of the injuries are the obvious. I'm happy to see, I guess, like there's hope existing that there's so many day-to-days. And if I think maybe half of them, their day comes on Sunday, then that's great. But it even concerns me, like, what kind of week of practice did they have? And it also concerns me in general with the Storm. What kind of week of practice did our whole team have compared to the week of practice that Kansas City's having?
Yep.
That concerns me significantly too. And then the third card in the deck stacked against us is the Sean Hockley situation. Because we can hope that it's a home team away team thing, as a lot of the narrative has said, or we can face a pessimistic attitude and be like, he doesn't like the Bills, and he makes those choices based on that. I mean,
he doesn't like the Bills.
Well,
I think that's very well put.
Yeah, it's a big test of transparency with him, I think, on Sunday too. His reputation in many ways, I think, is on the line, and he probably does not think that, but I think that.
I do too.
And
I think those are 2 points that I am worried about too.
Right, and I'm a YouTube podcaster, so he better care what I think.
We all do.
Right, of course.
We're the voice of a generation.
Voice of
YouTube
a
podcast.
generation, clearly. Yeah. So with those three things, yeah, I'm highly concerned. And injuries is maybe the biggest concern because that's the most in flux. We can't control the weather. We cannot control who's assigned to us, but the injuries is like, that's the coin flip we're waiting on.
Right. Yeah, I think that's, like I said, very well stated, very good points. Those are the two things that concern me more than anything is the injuries and how this team is approaching this week. Because with the snowstorm, I mean, we mentioned they're doing trainings and walkthroughs on Zoom. Already a day behind because of the shift to Monday
Right.
for the wild card game. Now we're losing a day, maybe two again, with this snowstorm. So again, the Bills are going to have to puff out their chests and man up here because they're not going to be getting the preparation in that they should be. And I think the Sean Hockley point's a good one because here we go again with not only the Chiefs but with a Hockley trying to screw the Bills. I put after the Eagles game, which was the last game Sean Hockley repped the Bills, and I said if Sean Hockley gets a playoff game in Buffalo, that guy's going to need a combination of Dog the Bounty Hunter, Optimus Prime, and like Arnold Schwarzenegger to be his security for the game, before the game, and after the game. Because if he screws the Bills, oh man, that is like put that guy in a Brinks truck, like because he needs the security.
Right. I couldn't agree more, and he is. I could not agree more, and I'm hoping also that with one thing I'm kind of telling myself is that in this circumstance where there's one game happening at a time, that the league over the New York City league oversight is maybe a little more active.
Yeah.
And trying to get it right. That's something that maybe I can say to make me sleep at night.
Yeah. I thought the refs during the Steelers game did a good job of just kind of letting the game
them play.
be
I
played.
thought so too.
There wasn't a ton of penalties, and I thought it was really good. I mean, I think everyone watching this, everyone in Billsmafia can agree with us that if we have a game like the Eagles game or the Jaguars game in London this year where there's just flag after flag after flag, it's stupid. Like it's dumb. Like you're not letting talent dictate the outcome of a game. The refs are dictating the outcome of a game. And that's where I kind of get ticked off is like, especially in the playoffs, if the refs are dictating the outcome of games, a la the Super Bowl last year, like the NFL needs to step in and be like, let's cool it with the flags here. Stripes. So Sean Hockley, it's kind of clear. Either you kind of help the Bills win or you're not getting out of that stadium in one piece.
Yeah.
I mean, the choice is yours and yours alone. Shout out Olmec.
Right. Of course.
Legend of the Hidden Temple.
And I wonder, a test on Sean Hockley, I think also here is the big mouth on the Chiefs complaining about calls last time around. Will he, if he agreed with that, will he be looking to like highlight revenge possible? Like, does he think the league owes the Chiefs one because of that? If he agrees with the statements of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes?
Right. Do you think it'll be so cold that Patrick Mahomes cuts open Andy Reid a la Star Wars, lives inside of him to stay warm?
Did you I know where you got that joke from, so we should talk about that too.
Let's talk about
Episode 1 of After Midnight.
Take me there. Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes, I also watched it. I also checked out episode 1 of After Midnight, free on YouTube.
I miss Chris Hardwick.
I know. I was kind of thinking the same thing too. I'm like, I did kind of like the way Chris Hardwick brought it to the show because the way it is now really seems just like it's really just like a comedian, just like
viral internet clip.
Overall, overall, just the funniest people with the other funniest people, and really just celebrating that. Other than that, I thought it was decent.
Okay, it was okay. But that scenario could very well play out.
Right.
Very Star Wars-esque.
hmm
Empire Strikes Back. Cut open the tauntaun and live in them. Stay warm. That could be
Right.
Andy Reid Sunday because it is going to
Could
be
be.
cold again here in Buffalo. But yeah, you're right. Like the Chiefs, especially this year, because they haven't had the success on offense that they typically do.
hmm
Feels like they're getting very whiny, very trying to manipulate the refs to get a
hmm
call. I I mean, nothing was clearer than after they played the Bills in the regular season, and Pat Mahomes couldn't even like muster up 20 seconds of congratulating Josh Allen. He said he's
Right.
complaining to Josh Allen post game handshake about the rest, like
Right.
Pat the Brat hashtag.
Mm.
Plus, we got the whole like battle on the field, and then we got the battle in the suites with Haley and Taylor. So
Oh
that's something
yeah.
to watch too.
I don't think either one of them would be there.
Oh, really? I think both will be there.
Oh really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of thinking because like there's a gate near where I enter, um, at my like
Taylor
ticket
could enter
gate.
there too.
Well, kind of. It's not like a ticket gate, but there's like a place near my ticket gate where the fence opens up, and that's where like golf carts cross, and like the Pagulas ride a golf cart through there with security, and they like shut it
Oh,
down
look at
for
you.
important people. I was saw like
You
Robert
with the
Kraft came
elite.
in from his helicopter there. I was kind of thinking, I'm like, maybe I should just go in early and hang out by the gate and see who crosses in front of me. Get some FaceTime with the glitterati.
The glitterati. That's right.
hmm
Tony, you want to ask me a trivia question? You have
I
any
have
ready?
nothing. I think you should ask me a trivia question because I have nothing prepared.
No? You want a trivia question?
Yeah,
Should we
hit
do some
me.
more trivia time with Tony? All right, here we go. Ready? This is a good one.
Okay.
This is another list one. I like these list ones.
Okay.
And listeners, viewers, of course, help Tony out in the comments. Here we go. 11 players on this list from 2000 to 2018. 11 different Bills have rushed for 100 or more yards in a game. Give me 8. 8 out of the 11.
Marshawn. Okay. 2000 to 2018.
Yes,
Marshawn Lynch,
that is
Willis
one. Yep.
Willis McGahee,
2.
Travis Henry,
Travis Henry, 3.
Fred Jackson,
Fred Jackson, 4.
um, 2018. So Devin Singletary.
Evan Singletary, no.
Oh, okay.
They don't
Um,
really rush for 100 yards in a game often.
no, but you only need to do it
Yeah,
once
you
to be
think you
on
would
this
have done it
list.
once. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'll give you a freebie because it's kind of like teeters like the 2000 season versus the year 2000. One of them is Josh Allen. Or
Oh,
the
I see.
2018 season
Okay.
versus the 20 I'm sorry, not
Right.
2000, but 2018 season versus the year 2018. So one of
Oh,
them's
I
Josh
see.
Allen. So you
Okay.
got 5.
Okay. So that's 5. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like the
Comments help
random,
Tony out.
the
11
random
different
week.
Bills players rush for 100 or more yards in a game.
I'm trying to think of like the random week 18 or week 17. Then, uh, like 100-yard rushers. That we
One guy
had.
we
Like,
mention often on this podcast.
really? Uh,
Likes to eat.
oh, Carlos Williams.
Carlos Williams. Yeah.
Carlos Williams. Yes. Um,
Give me 2 more. 2 more should be quite easy.
okay. Let's see.
He was the best Bills running back before James Cook. Or James Cook will be the best Bills running back since this guy,
LaShawn
according to
McCoy.
some people on Twitter. Sean McCoy. Yep.
Yep.
All right, one more. I won't give you any hints with this one.
Yeah.
2000 to 2018, Bills 100-yard rushers.
Let's see.
You got this.
Uh,
Use your
like,
brain power.
I'm trying to think of like another Williams. What was that guy's name?
Kyle Williams.
No. And don't start naming the other random Williamses because it's too many.
It's way too many.
Yeah. Let's see who else is in this mix.
Speaking of Williams, Dorian Williams likes to lay the lumber. That's right.
And that's true, he does. How about
I'm counting you down. Come on. By the way, if you're listening on audio tomorrow, this is great stuff.
Yeah, I know. You can count me down to 0.
You've drawn a blank?
I think I'm blanking.
Who did Chan famously say, like, it's his turn? You named one of them. Who's the other guy whose turn it was?
That's what I'm trying to think of. It's
CJ Spiller.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you are, man. We need some blood flow from your legs to your head.
I know.
Disappointing.
Oh my gosh. Of course.
Of course, CJ Spiller. Getting back to the Chiefs game. Are you worried, ultimately? All the factors aside, injuries, maybe looking at the negative injuries, maybe looking at the positive that the Bills are super hot, winners of, 6 of their last 7 games, maybe the hottest team in the NFL. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like super worried, 1 being we got this. Where are you at here going into this Chiefs game?
9.
9? Super worried?
Yeah. But a lot of that I think that a lot of that is informed by history.
Yep.
No, this is how it goes. And the deck is stacked against us, as I mentioned. So, yeah, 9. I'm worried.
I'm worried too. Like, I'm at probably an 8. Not because of the injuries, but just like you said, this is that team, just like the Patriots were all throughout the drought of like, and I know this Bills team and that Bills team, the drought Bills teams, way different skill set, way different expectations, but the drought Bills always had the Patriots of like, man, we just cannot beat this team. When it comes to the playoffs and the Chiefs, just feels like that scenario playing out again. It's like, we just can't beat this team, whether it's the refs screwing us or whether it's just we lay an egg or we just don't execute, whatever it happens to be. It just seems like they have our number. If we get out-coached, outplayed, whatever, the Chiefs are that team. So I am very worried about this game. Now, if we win this game, I'm all in, baby. Like, team of destiny stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we finally got over. That's the hump we need to get over. That's the Chiefs hump, playoff hump we need to get over. And then I'll be like, all right, this is it. We're good. Like, because when you look at moving forward, Ravens or Texans, very winnable opponents. Ravens are very good. I'll give them that. And we would be playing away, but man, I don't hate our chances in that game.
Yeah, I know.
And then the Super Bowl, anything could happen. So who knows? Jordan Love and the Packers might make the Super Bowl. Like, at this rate, they're super hot in the NFC.
In all these scenarios, like the Chiefs is the emotional barrier, but once you break the emotional barrier, it's like, well, then it doesn't even matter, because in all these scenarios, it's going to be tough. It's all good teams left, and anything can happen. And like you said, in the Super Bowl, but like in a championship game, they're both championship games, and in any championship game, anything can happen. So we just have to foil our opponent here, because this is the USSR. We know that Finland is on the other side, but like the USSR is the big deal, you know?
This is the game. This is the miracle game.
And we are not set up for success in this one.
No.
So
and Josh Allen is our Jim Craig. He needs to make 1,000,000 saves.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that the last 2 weeks in huge games. When we needed it the most, Josh Allen has kind of nutted up and given us a drive when we need it the most. Whether it was whether it was at any point in the second half of the Dolphins game, or when the game got to one score against the Steelers this past weekend, or is Monday a weekend? Sure, why not? He delivered. He gave us a drive, a drive where he either needed to sustain a drive to kill clock or find some way to put points on the board to keep it a 2-score game or whatever. Like, he's stepped up, and they haven't really faltered in those scenarios. Sean McDermott's done an incredible job calling this defense, not just this season, but these past 4 weeks of like a really final push to the playoffs and in the playoffs here, especially with a depleted roster. We mentioned those guys, AJ Klein,
I agree
Tyler
with
Elam.
that. Having the depth stand up is
Sean
a
McDermott's been good.
feather in the cap for Sean McDermott.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
As Leslie Frazier gets coaching interviews, good luck with that one, whoever hires him, because McDermott's done a really good job. And I wasn't a fan of Leslie Frazier, as viewers and listeners of the show know. So, yeah, I'm very worried. I'm not even going to give a score prediction, and we don't do score predictions on this show, but I'm just worried. But if they win, and this is, I mean, you got to like, now I'm going to start talking myself into the win, because you got to like the matchup. I know, but you got to like the match. The Chiefs aren't playing their greatest this season. Yes, they beat a Dolphins team with a high-powered offense who seemed to lay an egg, who also had a bunch of injuries. But the Bills team is better than that Dolphins team anyway. But I just don't think the Chiefs they're not the threat they were in the past, right? Their passing game just seems to be eternally off for some reason, whether it's Travis Kelce's play declining or his physical nature declining. Like, he just doesn't seem right. Dropped a ton of balls last week. I watched that Chiefs-Dolphins game. Dropped a ton of balls. They don't have really anybody outside of him and Rashee Rice, who I actually really like, in the passing game. Pacheco is the big one. Pacheco didn't play when we faced the Chiefs in the regular season. Now he's playing, and the Bills' run defense, while better this year, can be suspect at times, as we all know. So
yeah,
I think that's the difference, is like, stop Pacheco with 4. Like, your front 4 needs to win. No blitzes, no exotic rushes with 6 guys, because let's be real here, Billsmafia and viewers. Like, we're not a good blitzing team. Like, we haven't been. We never seem to be. Get to the quarterback with 4 guys. Like, that is the goal here.
That would be
That is how
ideal.
you win this game.
And then it would also be ideal if then who Pacheco has to face is the likes of Dotson and Bernard.
Right.
But that's in an ideal world.
Bernard being out is like huge.
I know.
If Bernard is out,
piece of it.
If Bernard is out, which I think he will be, like, yes, we avoided major injury with, I thought it was an Achilles. I'm not a doctor. I'm just lifting an 8-pound weight here.
Right.
Which is like pretty much a doctor, but not quite. I thought it was an Achilles when he went down, and I saw the replay. I'm like, shoot. Now, not only do we lose him for the rest of this year, however long it continues on, we lose him pretty much all of next year. But we avoided major injury, and if he makes a return, this week, that's some deer antler spray magic going on there.
Mystic stuff. He went down to Lilydale and got this thing figured out. Like, it's wild.
Yeah, that's some witches, hex, Marvel, CGI. I don't know, whatever magic they do. The power of cortisone shots. But if he comes back, that would be huge and can play up to the ability he's played at all year. That's huge. But if he's not in, which I don't suspect he will be, I think this is at least a 2-week injury. Do you think it's Dodson and Klein? That seems very, very susceptible to getting beat in the passing game.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's a mix. I think the Mike linebacker is kind of a situational rotation, I guess. Like
Yeah.
we maybe Klein will come out of the tunnel announced, but I think the snaps would be kind of situationally changed up a lot. So in that respect, I mean, we're talking about this, but there's a huge piece to the two-way stoppage, I guess, and that's I really hope Taron Johnson gets it together too. I think Taron Johnson is more important than what happens at Mike linebacker as it is. So
I do too. I think
we're also
that's a huge
we're also keeping
component.
an eye on that man's head, which for two
Yeah,
concussions in a season for him to come back like this would also be some witches brew.
yeah, that'd be something, especially like when a lot of players this season have not come back within the week they sustained the concussion. For him to
Right.
come back is like, I don't know if he's fully back, but get in there. It's the
Okay.
playoffs,
We're
and I
hoping
would
for the
worry about
best
that.
here.
Yeah,
Right.
right. I also think getting Gabe Davis back would be a big deal because I think L'Jarius Sneed is going to line up on Diggs primarily and follow him around the field. And L'Jarius Sneed's a very good cornerback. And guys like Trent McDuffie are good quarterbacks. Like Chiefs have some good secondary options here. So I think getting Gabe Davis back, just like he did 2-3 years ago and had the huge game, we're just going to need that secondary guy. And while we love He Wolf and we love Khalil Shakir and we love Balin Spector, I feel like you still need a guy to kind of blow the top off the defense, and Gabe
Yeah.
Davis can be that field stretcher to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be big as well. But
And
I'm nervous, just like you're nervous, Tony.
He's got a swag against the Chiefs. So
he does have a swag.
Well, yeah, he's got a swag in big games in general. So
no one on the corner got swagger like Gabe in big games.
If I had a choice between Gabe and no Gabe, I'll take Gabe.
I'll take Gabe. Yeah, I'll take Gabe as much as we don't like him on this show. I'll take him. We could use him. So, Tony, what do you say we wrap it up though? I think my arm is going to fall off here.
Well, my phone's about to die, so I hope I make it to the wrap up.
Well, let's hope we make it up to the wrap up. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for commenting, liking. If you haven't yet, hit that like. We'll go quickly here for Tony's phone's sake. Thank you to our sponsor, of course, Traveling Growler, www.travelinggrowler.com. Quality koozies starting at just $5. Shop local, support local, travelinggrowler.com. Awesome product. Keeps your beers cold in the summer. You probably don't need them in these frigid temperatures, but great product nonetheless. We mentioned at the beginning of the show, the t-shirt store, apparel store. We have crew necks, we have hoodies, we have all colors, all sizes, all cool designs. Whether you like any kind of pop culture reference, we have it in there. So make sure you go check out teespring.com, search Witty Not Funny, all one word, or Google Teespring Witty Not Funny, all one word. If you're not viewing now and you're listening later, check us out on iTunes, Spotify, always on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network. Go check us out. Like I said, if you haven't hit that like, subscribe. Thank you everyone for commenting. Give us a follow on Twitter, X, Instagram at WittySports716. We love following back, connecting with the Bills Mafia and Saber Swords people out there. Trademark pending on Saber Swords people for a fan group name, so look out for that. So it's in with the trademark offices. Or you can follow us on Facebook or TikTok, Witty Not Funny Sports. Give us a follow on all platforms. We love following back. And as we always say, whether you give us 2 minutes or 2 hours of your time, if this is your first time viewing or you're a multiple time viewer, thank you everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate any time you give to our ridiculousness, as evident by Tony's bike and my weight here.
152 calories
about
burned.
The Bills. 52. Wow.
152.
Check my 152. Wow, even better. That's impressive.
Now
Good job, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, going up as we speak.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Give us a follow on Twitter. As we always say, go Bills. Thanks for listening. Of course, stay witty out there, everyone. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Later.